Okay friends, today we're just going to make fajitas. Pretty simple. Everybody loves taco night. Why not spruce it up just a little bit and make fajitas? Not going to take you much longer. A lot easier than you think to do. We're going to start with a simple marinade. Take a whole bunch of the cilantro and just rough chop it. Take the stems and all, rip the top part off. You don't want to get those really bottom parts in there. It's just more to deal with later on. But just do this, give her a little chop. That's all I'm trying to do. Put this in our bowl. Alright, cilantro's in, now it's time for a lime. We're going to zest. And you want to be careful not to get any of the white, but you do want to get all the green that you can on there. That's where the oils are going to be, and that's really going to help in your marinade and for the strength of the flavor. If you don't have it, it's alright, just use a little extra lime juice. Try to always use regular limes though, try not to get that green stuff out of the bottle. So we're going to do this with 2 limes. I'm just going to show you how to do 1. Zest we're getting out of that, and you don't need much, it's very potent, very strong. Alright, now for your lime, we're going to cut it in half. Very tricky. Take your lime juicer, get all the juice out of there that you can. It will make a huge difference on your marinade. Again, just a few seconds to do all these steps. Now if you put both of these lime pieces in there, you'll be able to get a little more juice out of it. Perfect. Alright, there we go. You have 2 limes. Now, garlic. I just use the minced garlic for this. It works really well in the marinade. It blends in really good. Don't be stingy, but again, it's to your taste. We are, I love garlic. That's going to go in there. The secret ingredient. So my homemade fajita seasoning. It's awesome. You can put this stuff on anything. Fish, chicken, steaks, whatever you like. There's 10 ingredients in here. If you want, ask me the recipe or else we'll get it out to you online someday. However, we're just going to put some of this in here. You don't have to go crazy with it because we are going to put it on the steak before that goes on the grill. Put that off to the side. About a half a cup of olive oil. Enough to get the steak coated. It's going to help with the moisture, help bring the marinade together. Give this a little quick toss, and then it's time for the star of the show. Alright, so I have a gallon Ziploc bag inside a container so it sits still. Try to fold the top down so you don't get all the stuff around the edges and then it sucks when you handle it. We are using today skirt steak. You have it in a little bit of a tenderizing sauce, so it's losing a little of its red color that you would think. Now this is a skirt steak. They're that big. There's 2 of them on each cow. Having to get both of them. We're using all of one for this one. The other one I cut up into sections. We'll just use that sometime when we're just going to have some tacos and just really quick fry for those. Then we have this in here. Get as much of the air out of this as you can. Pull her out, make sure it's sealed. Now we're just going to play with it for a few minutes. We're going to get everything completely coated. Get that cilantro all moved around, get the garlic, you don't want to just sit in one spot. Everything evenly covered, smothered. Just like that. We're just going to put this in the fridge, let it sit 4 hours, 8 hours. The longer it's in there, a little bit more of that marinade flavor it's going to pick up. So I'd suggest at least 4 hours. We'll try to give this an 8-hour marinade, and then we'll come back and we'll get this thrown on the grill And this part's gonna go real quick and easy. All right, so I've stood in this spot for 8 hours, pulled the steak out of the marinade, let it sit out for just a little bit, try to eat a little bit closer to room temperature, and it'll also let the skin dry a little bit to help us with the sear. The other thing we're gonna do, give it a little bit more flavor, also help with get a little crust on it. We're gonna put some of our special seasoning on it. And this stuff has a little bit of a kick. So we're going to spill most of it on the counter. And what we do get on here, don't be stingy. Some of it's going to fall off, some of it's going to grill off. One side. Pack it just a smidge. Flip this over. I'm getting things flying everywhere. Now, same thing on this side. Rub this in a little bit. Get this pan washed up. You can kind of see really good right here the way the striations work in here, the fat. So when we cut, we're going to cut against that and stuff. So it'll help it cut nice and tender. Now, take it right to the grill. Grill's been warming up. Grill is scorching hot. So let's get our steak on. All right. Had the Weber scorching hot. It was up to about 550. Now, I'm going to throw this thing on. Can you hear that sear? That's a great sound. Perfect. We'll let this go for about 3 minutes. We'll get that flipped. In the meantime, we're going to cut up the vegetables and get ready to get those on. Okay, now that we got the steak on, we are just going to cut up some vegetables. You can use whatever kind you like. A lot of people use zucchini even. We're just going to use some peppers. Not a big fan of the greens. We're just going to use a yellow and an orange I got here today. They're out of the reds, which I really love. Get some of this membrane off of there because that's not the most flavorful, and get the seeds out. Get rid of a lot of your heat that way. There, now, we're just going to cut these into about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch sections. We want them to cook, but we want them to be able to remain in their form. We don't want them to get them all shriveled up and lose everything. So, cutting that down. And we do the same thing with the other pepper. Now we're going to cut up the onion. Same thing. These are not getting diced. I don't have to be great with your knife skills at the moment. We are just going to cut these. Big blocks like this. They will all get separated in the pan. Now, back to the grill. All right, we're going to get a little olive oil in the pan. These are going to go in. And we're even going to get that a little bit more of our sauce. That'll help. Steak is more than ready. Let's flip this whole hog. See that nice color it's starting to get. Let the other side char up. While that's happening, just give these a little bit of a stir. These actually take a little bit longer than the steak, but while the steak is resting, we'll be able to finish these off and everything will be nice and ready by then. And we're going to enjoy some great fajitas. This is going to be dynamite. Alright, steak is ready. That's up to temp, and that is going to be perfect. Here, we'll take this right over here to our cutting board. We're going to let this thing rest. Perfect. That's resting. I'm gonna come back over here. Just gonna give these onions and peppers, a little toss. Starting to separate real nice, and they're starting to get really soft. We don't want them to get cooked hard. We just want to get them tender. And the seasoning smells great. The peppers smell great. The aromatics it's giving off. I'm surprised the neighbor hasn't been here yet. My wife is probably going to need a margarita when this is all done, but she loves her some fajitas. So we'll let that go just a few more minutes. Again, you can see the striations in the meat here, so we're going to cut against the grain. We're going to cut this way with it. And we'll come back, we're going to cut this very thin on a bias. You can see there's still some red in there, some pink anyways. We're going to cut this really thin. I mean, the juice is just running everywhere. And this has been sitting for at least a good 5 minutes. And this center part here, the ends get a little bit drier. This center part here is going to be perfect. I got to check on the onions and stuff, but I just got to try a bite of this. This is going to be wonderful. That's great. You can taste every bit of that. Love every part of it. We're going to have leftovers tomorrow, but I can't worry about that yet. We just got to get dinner made, and so let's get the rest of that going. One more check on these. That is getting right where we want them. Starting to get some color. That seasoning has had a chance to coat through. Perfect. Put it up to the side. Don't grab that pan, it's hot. We're gonna use this. Set these here. We are ready to eat. So I'm instantly just gonna put a shell on. I would almost always use a corn tortilla, but Renee's been kind of missing the little gringo style here a little bit, so we're gonna use a flour tortilla today. All we need to do is we're just warming it up. Just enough to get the oil's loosened up, starting to get just a little bit of a brown. That's more than enough. We have my plate. That's all she takes. Shut that down. All right. All we do is load this up. A little bit of this meat on here. Another piece never hurt anybody. A little bit of onion. Get a pepper on there. That is toasty warm. We are going to put a little bit of cheese on here. Don't mind my hands, they get washed 10 times during this filming. It's just the wife and I. We're going to finish it off. Just a couple dabs of a Habanero Salsa that I've been working on. And we are going to have some salsa recipes coming up real quick in a future video. That's all I need on my taco. Again, a lot of times you're going to use Oaxaca cheese. We're just using cheddar today because we're using the flour tortilla. And now I'm going to shut up and eat. Probably your favorite moment. That was delicious. I will serve this to anybody. I am proud to serve this to my wife. Anybody. Come on down and visit us. 3 suitcases. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But time for me to eat.